sure?
Yeah.
What's that red light mean?
It means it's. Are you serious?
No. Hey guys. No, fudge, wrong video.
You messed it up? Did you turn off and start over?
No, let's just keep rolling. Nerdy or Die reviews here.
Also, CBTV, check Rick Grimes for President YouTube channel for that show.
Yeah, we're a little out of it. Bringing you a very late, 2-week late. Yeah, we know.
That means we're coming in late to the game. That means everybody's already watched every other review. And
Yeah.
We're coming in late and we're ready to go.
Yeah,
You're gonna
ours is
watch
going to be
ours.
the best.
Probably not.
So this is a review on, I don't know what the episode number is. Arrow...
17.
No,
Yes.
it's way before that. Suicide Squad was like 16. It's like 15 or something.
It's The Promise.
Of season 2 of Arrow, The Promise. It was a big build-up for this episode, and it was a really, really awesome episode. We got to see a little bit. We finally got to catch up on time periods between what's going on the island and what's happening in the city, and we get to see a lot of Slade Wilson this episode.
Yeah, it's a lot of Slade Wilson. It picks up right where the last one left off with Slade being in Oliver's house, and he says, "Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Queen."
Yeah.
And it picks up directly from there. You find out what Slade is doing, and of course, The Promise is the title of the episode. You find out something that Slade promised Oliver on the island. Well, it's a spoiler review. We can say it.
Yeah.
Slade finds out that Oliver is basically the reason that Shadow is dead.
Because
and so he goes
he overheard
off.
Ivo and Oliver talking.
Yeah.
And Sarah warned him.
Yeah, she was
like,
like, "You need
he's
to
going
tell
to
Slade."
overhear you. You
Yeah.
need to tell Slade. Or
And
else.
Oliver didn't. He's like, "We'll be fine. We're brothers."
And it didn't work out too well
No.
for anyone. So, back on the island, we found out that Oliver, they were going to try to parachute on this onto the ship, the freighter.
onto Ivo's ship, and he was there for the Mirakuru on the island.
And Oliver ends up getting captured, which was his plan. But then Slade and Sarah were supposed to come bust him out, and they did. But then it ended up, turning tides on Oliver because Slade found out, and then
as they're fighting, Oliver. Oh, this is also Oliver is learning how to use the bow and arrow, kind of for the first time. He's getting really good at it. It shows him training some on the island.
Yeah.
But Oliver and Slade have a little fight. Oliver's trying to talk Slade down and say that it wasn't really his fault, And he meets back up with Sarah, who's with a priest. What's his name? He's a priest that he was
glasses
another.
guy?
Yeah, he was another
Yeah.
prisoner on Ivo's ship, and he's with Sarah. Sarah went with him. And then there's a couple other people too. They jump off the boat to swim back to the island because the ship is on fire, being blown up.
Yeah, the ship's
being destroyed.
being destroyed. There's weapons and grenades and rocket launchers all on the ship,
And
so it's being destroyed.
They all jump off the boat, and it's a couple people. So Sarah is now on the island
Sarah's
with
on
a couple
the
of
island,
different people.
yeah, with the people that were trapped on the ship.
But Slade catches Oliver by the foot and brings him back up.
And so Slade
On
and Oliver
board.
have a standoff on the ship, and basically, Slade promises Oliver, he obviously could have killed him right then and there. He could have crapped on his life, but he said, I'm going to make your life hell.
I'm going to make you lose everyone you love because Slade lost Shadow, which was the only person that he loved
It's just
because
a
of
girl,
Oliver.
man.
Doesn't
Gotta
matter.
get over her eventually.
He made a promise.
We know that Oliver. We found out that he supposedly burned that box of Mirakuru, but he didn't end up burning it. Slade found out that he burned an empty box. So Slade, now since we're getting back into the city, that Slade and Brother Blood have been mass producing Mirakuru, and we know that Slade, by this time he's injected himself. I believe he's injected himself with a ton more Mirakuru.
Because even on the ship, when he had just had one injection of Mirakuru, someone shoots him, and he kind of stops for a second, and he
takes
keeps
over the
walking,
ship.
like nothing happens. Yeah, and becomes Slade's ship.
Yep.
And he chops off Ivo's hand, and then sends him into the prisons.
Yep.
So it's now Slade's ship, where Oliver's prisoner, and that's where we basically leave off on the island.
And then back in the city, Slade's in the house. He's basically being taken on a tour by Moira and Thea.
Moira.
Shut up. And he's taking a friendly little tour, looking at some paintings, right, Zach?
No, he's actually not, Josh. He is bugging their house, which you find out at the end of the episode. He's setting up video cameras and sound equipment so that the entire Queen house is bugged.
Some awesome scenes though is when Oliver calls Sarah and he calls Roy to come and help him out because
he doesn't really call him. He calls
Felicity.
Yeah, Felicity, but
He
he puts it
dials
on
her.
speakerphone because
Yeah.
he thinks that Sarah will be there and she'll hear Slade's
She
voice
was.
and know who it is.
Her and Roy were training, and then because Oliver thinks that like it's then and there, like he's gonna fight Slade right then and there. But
And so it's actually a really, really cool scene, which is probably my favorite scene of the episode.
yeah,
Sarah basically comes downstairs. I guess Slade assumed that Sarah was dead. We don't know what.
yeah.
happened
Slade
with them
assumed
yet.
that Sarah was not a part of the picture,
And so he already knows Oliver's there. Sarah comes downstairs. Slade is kind of thrown off a little bit, and then Roy comes in, who's also
Gives
been
him a
injected with the
handshake.
Mirakuru, by now, and gives him a handshake. And you can see Slade's kind of like, you have a very strong handshake there. And so it's like a little 10 or 15 seconds of Oliver like, so what do you want to do now, Mr. Wilson?
yeah.
And he's just kind of like looking around
So
to
Slade's.
Sarah and
I
Oliver.
think this
It's
is
really
like
cool.
the first time that Slade's kind of just like, oh crap, maybe I need to build up my armies a little more.
Yeah, I think he thought it was just Oliver.
Yeah.
It's not. Oliver has an entire
So,
team behind him. I don't think Slade knew.
So they're all set up, and Diggle's also set outside with a sniper rifle, and then Slade leaves, walks out with Oliver, and the plan is for Diggle to snipe Slade as he's coming out. But we find a mysterious character hits Diggle in the back of the head, knocks him out, and Slade somehow knew. He's freaking crazy. He knew that Diggle was up there with a sniper rifle somehow. I mean, he's insane. So we get the nice window scene where he's rolling down the window and saying like, "I made you a promise,
And I intend to keep it.
and I intend to keep it." So that's where we leave off with that episode. Slade's been bugging the house, and Diggle's nowhere to be found, which leads into the next Suicide Squad episode. And that's really about it. It was just a very Slade Wilson centric episode. Like
Very
find
like
out.
catching you up to
To what?
Slade, basically.
Yeah, and
Although we
I-
still don't know entirely what happens when we leave off. Oliver's on the ship, which is now run by Slade.
Yeah.
But we know that Oliver thinks that Slade is dead with an arrow through his eye back on the island. So we're
Yeah.
not sure what happens.
So at
still
some point in time,
entirely on the
Oliver
island.
put an arrow through Slade's eye,
Yeah.
and he has no idea how or why he's alive. So that'll come into play later on. Overall, nerdy episode. I think so.
I think so
It's
too.
been Arrow's
That's pretty
been
good.
really good, and
Arrow has been really good.
I was really excited about the next episode, which was Suicide Squad, which we're going to talk about here in a minute in our next review video, and then we're going to be caught up.
And also,
yeah.
not a lot of Laurel in The Promise, which I'm always a fan
No.
of.
Was there any Laurel?
Maybe some, but not very much.
The next
Which is
episode.
good with me.
Birds of prey. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Yeah. Sorry this is late, but
Like, comment, subscribe.
like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And we're going to try to get caught up as soon as we can. So, thanks.